Alrighty guys, good morning. Well, I was hoping I wouldn't have to make this video, but here I am. If you'll remember back around Christmas time, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted some pictures about buying a vibratory, an 84-inch vibratory roller for the Bobcat. Before the end of the year, it showed up. It was in Minnesota, and I bought it off of Purple Wave. So it shows up. I didn't go up and look at it. It's in Minnesota. So anyway, called the guy, talked to him. The guy told me, oh yeah, no problems with it. Good machine, no problems with it. We went to a self-propelled. That's the only reason why we're getting rid of it. No problem, turnkey, ready to go. Well, I met the guy, the transport company that brought it, and I met them out here, and I noticed there was some oil on either side, either end of the roller on the trailer. Now that's weird. Maybe, you know, I don't know anything about them. Maybe that was maybe it's some hydraulic hoses or something leaking. So that kind of perked me up a little bit, and I was like, So anyway, fired the Bobcat up, got it off the trailer. When I lifted it up, I noticed the drum dropped a little bit. I was like, well, there's rubber isolators on either end. Maybe that's just taking the slop up a little bit. So anyway, I get it down and unload it, park it. I wasn't going to fire it up until I got the system flushed out, because who knows if they contaminated the system, maybe had a pump failure on their skid steer. And anyway, so I went to Bobcat, got some oil, pulled the ends off the hoses, flushed everything out. So I went ahead and plugged it in, fired it up. No noises. It vibrated and everything. And so anyway, I kind of played around with it a little bit here where I have the equipment. I thought, well, maybe it'd be all right, you know. So anyway, I got out and was kind of looking it over, and I noticed oil running out on either end of where the hubs are at, where the isolators and everything are at. I thought, oh, here we go. And so I raised it up and got to looking, and this side here, you see these are some rubber isolators here. This side here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that bearing sticking outside of that hub a little bit. I'm going to show you on this side. And it's really hard to see, but that bearing is inside the hub. So I knew obviously seals and everything were out, and I thought, well, maybe that bearing's just wore and slid out of the hub a little bit. So the other day I was out here, I raised it up and really got to looking, and that bearing on this side is, the bearing's shot. And I say it's all gone, most of it. So anyway, the guy just flat ass lied to me about the condition that it's in. I mean, just flat lied about it. And I've bought a lot of stuff off of Purple Wave before. Bought that off of Purple Wave, bought that pickup off of Purple Wave, and some other things. Never had any problems. But this guy just flat ass lied to me. So it has a data plate right there. You know, doesn't look, it's in good shape. So anyway, I called the manufacturer. They sent me to a dealer because they wouldn't talk to me because it has to go through a dealer. And anyway, I have a local dealer in Springfield, or just west of Springfield, and they They called the manufacturer, got a schematic sent. I'll think, okay, good, we're in good shape. Schematic was a little bit different. The layout was a little bit different and not exactly like mine. So same brand, same company, same model number, a little bit different. So I did some further searching, and actually apparently Edge made this exact roller for Case and branded it with Case decals. So went to the local Case dealership. They done some research, actually got me the correct schematic. So more research, found a company, listed everything that they had, everything. So I thought, well, good. Wasn't cheap, about $1,000 worth of parts. So I thought, well, that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. Lying, you know, lying bastard. But anyway, so I order the parts. Next day I get an email. Sorry, we can't ship your parts because the manufacturer no longer stocks those parts or manufactures those parts. I was like, oh great, here we go. So apparently this one is old enough. This one is older than 2005, which is, according to the manufacturer, they stock everything up to 2005, which I really find that hard to believe. It doesn't look that old. But anyway, so now what I have to do is pull this thing apart. I've got to pull this. So this is, these scrapers are going to have to come off. I'm going to pull this apart and see if I can get into where those bearings and stuff are at, see if I can get them out. This side over here, there's actually a big bearing that's on the end of the shaker rod, and then there's two other bearings at the ends of the shafts. So there's 4 smaller bearings, 2 bigger bearings. So I have to see if I can get that apart and probably utilize the bearings on this side because they don't appear to be damaged, and get the mics out or calipers out, start doing some micing, and hopefully I can come up with some bearings and then seals. So anyway, fingers crossed on that. But the goal today is real quick. It shouldn't take that long to pull this apart because there's really not much to it. Shouldn't. That's the key. You know how that goes. But pull the guards off, scrapers off, pull those the bolts out of the isolators, pull the motor off, and it should lift off of the drum. And then there's a nut and stuff in behind this. I'll have to pull that off, see if I can get that nut to release, pull these hubs off. So I'm just hoping that the hubs aren't damaged, because if the hubs are damaged, I'm either going to have to go to the machine shop and have them fixed, or probably be SOL. So anyway, I'm gonna unload the Bobcat, come over and snap into this, and I've kind of got some boards set up, so set that up there so that doesn't roll off, and see what I can do. Fingers crossed. But the way my luck's been, I'm telling you, I'm gonna set you up and we'll see what we can get done here. thing weighs about, it says it weighs 2,000 pounds, 1,950 pounds, I believe. So it's not light. So anyway, I'm gonna get the impact out. We'll see if we can't get this thing busted off here. And hopefully I don't run into any problems getting anything apart. But my biggest fear is those hubs are going to be shot. That's my biggest fear. And then I don't know, other than machining them, taking them and having them machine, what are you going to get into, you know? So anywho, fingers crossed. All right, so let's see if I can get these busted loose. Taking that one off, like I could have just, may not even have to take any of that off. Dummy. The carriage has got to come up. Oh well, I'll need to adjust that in there. Well, okay. hate to. There's a special nut that goes on that. I hate to use the damn tools on a hammer, but this one's gonna be sharp enough to get in there or not. Wasn't overly tight. Preload must not be a whole lot. Just hope these bearings and races are still decent, so I got something to go off of. Oh. Sounding too good when I spin it. It's not grinding. I think it's just probably got dirt and crap in it, probably. That shaft with now. And it's still moving. There we go. I don't want to tear up very many of these oscillators because even based on the prices when they were manufacturing, 153 bucks a piece just for these little isolators. Definitely some play in there, but hopefully they ain't too bad. Be my luck, they're worth slap out too. Really ain't much to these, really. Now I'm trying to get there's a nut cage right here. That should slide off of there in theory. See, that should be easy enough. There should be some numbers on there too. I was afraid of that. But I'll have to take that hub and have them welded and machined. That's going to get expensive. Definitely has a groove bore in it, son of a bitch. Wow. I imagine that one over there is going to be really bad. That should be able to be welded, and what's that going to cost? Oh man. Perfect. So that means that other one's going to be really bad. Shaft doesn't look too bad. So heavy. And dumbass don't do that. I just shoved her in there. Whoops. But see, it looks like this has got some wear on it too. Maybe this bearing's just wore on the outside, but it slides in there pretty easy and spins in there. Yep, that's gonna get expensive. Fixable, but it doesn't look like that bearing is spun in there. I wonder, by the time that you set, time you tighten that up, that may force that bearing in there enough. Probably would force that in there enough and keep that from spinning, more than likely. But those are definitely going to have to be welded and turned. Machining shop's going to have to do that. Not much, but definitely going to have to. Well, something in there on that other side. My biggest fear is either this or that's wore out on that other side. I can see that dude went and fell down. I'd say that side's probably toast, but I don't know. All right, I got this one off as well, same thing. Pieces parts coming out on that one, but that's what the bearing's not wore out, or it's not come apart per se, but there's a fair amount of play right here. So I'm gonna say this housing got some wear. Definitely gonna have to have these machined. This shouldn't have this groove in here. It should be same diameter all the way across. This bearing should be relatively snug like it is here. It drops off in here and gets loose. So this is going to have to be welded up and turned in the lathe. So anyway, I haven't got the other one's the same way too, but I think I probably got to it just in time before it had a catastrophic failure. So anyway, I'm going to get things knocked out of here, and let's see. I might lose you. I'm about out of battery. Bearings, there's 4 of these bearings here. These aren't wore out at all. Seal's wore out. Kind of an oddball seal. No numbers on anything, of course. None. This seal here's, it's probably a little better representation, but I don't know. It's a lip seal, but it's really thick. I don't know. Gonna have to do some digging. Well, I thought I'd show you this to you. That's the front cover of that bearing. This one's about the same as the other one. You can just see that lip. Oops, sorry. You can just see that lip right there. It's supposed to be flush like this all the way across. So anyway. All right, now I know. Find a machine shop, I guess. Well, alrighty guys. Well, I was afraid that was going to happen. But so anyway, these outer hubs where the big bearing goes over, there's a lip here. Other than that, it looks good. The races look good. Don't even think you'll have to knock the races out. The actual bearings that go in there aren't in bad shape at all. They're not all loose. Even this bearing here that come out of the bad sides, it's a little loose, but it's not overly bad. This one here still appears to be, this one's a little tighter. The big thing is having those hubs there with the isolators, having those machined, welded, machined, and then I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pull these off and have these welded in here and machined as well. There's just a little bit too much slop. It'll be interesting to get new bearings and just see if the new bearings tighten up any on that. Probably not. So more than likely that's gonna have to come off, be welded up for the correct diameter of this bearing, for the correct diameter of this bearing here when I get the new ones. It'll be interesting to just, again, to see how much difference in the new ones and these on the OD, to see if that'll take up any of that slop. This side over here does have more slop. By putting the good bearing in there, you can move it a fair amount until you shove it all the way to the back. And once it's all the way back up against, then it tightens up. So this one here's loose too, but not as bad as the other side. So I'm going to say these hubs are wore. I don't know why they would be, because there's no sign of the bearing spinning inside the hub, but I guess it's shaking all that time after all these years. Maybe it's kind of spread it apart a little bit, I don't know. But there's a machine shop not too far from here. They do mainly engine work. I don't know if they do this kind of stuff or not. I've got a contact that deals a lot with them, so I'll have to find out for sure. But anyway, we're gonna knock this one in the head right now. Nothing I can do until I get parts, get the machine work done. I don't know how long that'll take. So anywho, all right guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave comments, ring that notification bell. That way you know when I post a new video. Follow me on Instagram, DirtDaddy953, if I could talk. And I'll have pictures and stuff on there. So anyway guys, all right, appreciate you as always. Trying to post more videos. I've got a ton of work lined up already, so very blessed for that. Just got to start getting things done. So anyway guys, appreciate you as always. Thanks.